Hi and welcome to the HTA MOOC. In this video we're going to just go through Coursesites, the platform on which the MOOC is hosted, and some of the basics of kind of orientating yourself and working your way around the MOOC. You can see here that we're in the welcome page of the MOOC, so this is what will appear when you first log into the MOOC. There's some information about the tutors and people who've contributed to the MOOC, as well as me and Chris, the MOOC leaders. If you click on the link to About Our Participants, there'll be a link there to some information that you can fill in about who you are and where you're from, so we can find out a bit more about where the participants in the MOOC have come from, and we will share that information with you later on as well. Most of the content that you'll need is accessed in this left-hand sidebar. So to access the induction materials, for instance, you just click where it says Induction. So these are all the induction materials that you'll need to work through in this first week. First of all, we've got an embedded video from Chris welcoming you to the course. There's some information about the certification from the MOOC. There's the terms of participation. We need you to read through the terms of participation, and then in this section here click on Mark Reviewed to allow you to actually enter the MOOC itself. And once you've clicked on that Mark Reviewed, a link will appear to the Induction Week materials, so we'll have a look at those now. The Induction Week materials are set out in exactly the same way as the weekly MOOC materials will be set out. You have this menu structure at the side that you click through sequentially to look at all the materials, and then the course materials themselves appear in this section of the screen here. So this is our welcome to the MOOC video from me and some information from Chris. We'll include tasks in some weeks, so there'll be links to things like that. And often with a task, we'll need you to respond to something like a discussion or a blog post or something like that. And we've got guides in how to participate in the discussion forums and the blog posts. These are available in our resources section that I'll come to in a moment. We'll occasionally post announcements. You'll be notified of these in Coursesites. If we want to kind of draw your attention to something specifically, for instance, if some new materials have been released. The support that I mentioned earlier is pretty much housed in these two areas. If you've got a question and you can't find the answer to it anywhere else, you can post a question in our technical questions discussion area. So if you click on technical questions, you'll be able to click on create thread and add your own technical queries that you have about the MOOC, and Dan and Luke, our learning technologists, will try to respond to them as quickly as they can. But before you do that, if you click on the resources area here, we have put together some fairly extensive guides to how to use all the different tools that you'll come across during the MOOC. If you click on the link to how-to guides, it will take you to a series of videos and other content explaining all the key aspects, the discussion boards, the blog posts, how to use them, tips and tricks for using them, and so on and so forth. So there's an awful lot here that should be of use to you. But if, having looked through this, you still can't find the answer to your question, then it's fine to post something in the technical questions area. Every week, once you've worked through the induction materials, I'll go back there now briefly. Once you've gone through all of the induction introductory stuff and the materials in the induction week folder, that'll be all that's released to you during induction week. But once you've completed all of that and we move into the second week of the MOOC, which will be the Monday the 3rd of November, I think. No, it'll be Monday the 4th, sorry, I take it back. On Monday the 4th of November, week 1 will appear, and every week on the Monday of the week at 9 AM GMT, a new link will appear in this sidebar for weeks 2, 3, 4 and 5. So each week will be released sequentially on a week by week basis, obviously. So if we go into week 1 now, again, in each of these folders, there'll be a reminder to complete the terms and conditions if you haven't already done so. Otherwise, if you have, you'll be able to click on the link to the learning materials for that week. And again, just like the materials in the induction folder, these are laid out using a menu bar, and there'll be full instructions about everything that you need to do. For some of the activities in some weeks of the course, you will need to access discussion forums or blogs, and doing this is quite simple. You'll usually find that there's a direct link to the discussion board or to the blog that you need to post to in this material, this folder of learning materials here, and it will be a link to the blog or to the discussion group for your group that you've been allocated to. That's what you'll be able to see. But you can also access the discussions and the blogs by clicking on links on the left-hand menu. So if we click on the link here to discussions, this gives us all of the discussion groups that are available in the MOOC at this point in time. You can see we've got our Introduce Yourself discussion forums for each of the different groups. You'll be allocated to one of these groups, the Super Searchers or the Excellent Extractors or the Ace Appraisers and so on. So you can also access the discussion boards here. You just click on the discussion board for your group. To go into a discussion board or a blog, because they're both laid out in the same way, you just click in the title of the one you would like to go into. And then once you're in it, to actually post to it, you'll have to click on Create Thread. Once you click there, you can give your thread a subject. So I'll do introducing myself, Claire Beecroft. And then you can type the content that you want to post to the blog or to the discussion board. So I'll type something in here. Obviously, we'd like you to say a bit more about yourself than that, but I'll keep it brief for this video. And then when you've given it a title, you're happy with the text that you've typed in here, you can click on Submit. Your post will then appear within that discussion board or within that blog. So it's quite simple. That's pretty much it. It's just a case of logging in once a week and accessing the course materials that are presented on this sidebar. Use the resources if you've got any problems to check that there isn't a guide to help you out there, and if not, post in the technical questions area. We do recommend that you use as your web browser the most up-to-date version of either Firefox or Chrome. Those are the two web browsers that we recommend, and we can't guarantee the reliability of the course materials in any other browser. Unfortunately, those two are the ones we recommend. They're both freely available. So it shouldn't hopefully be a problem for most of you to, if you're not already using one of those browsers, to download it and use that for the course materials. And if you haven't updated the version of your browser in a while, it might just be worth checking that you're using the most up-to-date version, particularly if you do have any problems with pages in the course loading. But I'll go back to our welcome page now and say that we're looking forward to meeting you all through the discussion forums and through the blog posts, and enjoy the MOOC.